The world thought it was just another tragedy, another headline in the endless stream of heartbreak. But what happened in the hours leading up to Malcolm Jamal Warner's final breath was something no one was prepared to hear. This wasn't just about a man dying, it was about the unraveling of a soul in plain sight. A leaked voicemail, a tear-soaked letter, and a phone call that shattered a bond built over decades began surfacing. And suddenly the story wasn't just about loss, it was about betrayal, silence, and the quiet kind of heartbreak that kills long before the body gives out. The devastating news of Malcolm's sudden death had barely begun to sink in when a darker twist began to unfold. And it came from the two people who knew him best. Tempestt Bledsoe, the woman he once loved, and Phylicia Rashad, the woman who raised him both on screen and off. In a recovered voice memo from Malcolm's phone, his words were fragile, trembling. "Tell Tempestt I forgive her. Claire, I'm ready." In one sentence, he said goodbye to both women, the love he once clung to and the mother figure who always kept him grounded. In the leaked recording, Tempest's voice is barely audible through her sobs. "If you forgive me, maybe I'll never forgive myself." Her tone made it clear. She knew what her silence had cost him. And Phylicia Rashad, who had guarded his privacy for years, finally broke her silence. What she revealed stripped away every comforting illusion the public had about his final days. Malcolm didn't die surrounded by love. He died in isolation, betrayed, abandoned, forgotten by the one person who promised never to leave. The saddest part? He was still waiting for someone to fight for him. This wasn't just a death, it was the collapse of everything he believed in. This was a love story turned into a final cry for help. The clock had barely struck midnight when something shifted in the air. Heavy, cold, and impossible to describe. Hours before the world would wake to headlines about Malcolm's death, something happened that no one could have predicted. Not his fans, not his friends. Not even the woman who once claimed to know him better than he knew himself. Tempestt Bledsoe, the woman the world thought was his anchor, the woman he called his safe place in an industry that chews people up and spits them out, had been holding a truth that was bleeding all over social media thanks to a leaked voicemail and a shocking letter. It started with Phylicia Rashad, the matriarch, his on-screen mother, the one who truly understood just how deeply broken Malcolm had become. She stayed silent for years, protecting his privacy, guarding his legacy. But now her silence was shattered, and with it, the illusion that Malcolm was okay. Because he wasn't. He hadn't been okay for a long time. The unraveling began when a 2-minute audio clip surfaced online. Fans thought it was fake at first, until the voice, raw and cracking, made it undeniable. It was Tempestt. She was crying, truly crying, not acting, not performing. Her voice sounded like her soul had been ripped open. "If you forgive me, maybe I'll never forgive myself," she sobbed. "I never meant to leave you like that." Then silence. Cold, hollow, devastating. And then the line went dead. Moments later, according to Phylicia, Malcolm whispered words that would echo in millions of hearts. "Even the ones who love you like a mother can't tell who's crying for the soul and who's crying for the spotlight." These weren't just words. This was a man unraveling in real time. A man who had given the world his childhood, his identity, his peace, and got nothing but silence in return. According to insiders, Malcolm hadn't eaten in 3 days before his death. He had stopped answering calls, stopped texting back, stopped showing up, except for one person, Phylicia. She visited him late that night. No cameras, no press. Just her and the man she once called her TV son, now barely recognizable, hollow-eyed and shaking. Witnesses say the moment Malcolm opened the door, he froze, then collapsed into her arms. He didn't speak. He didn't cry. He just held her like a child lost in a storm. And Phylicia, she held him like a mother who knew this might be the last time. "I saw something in Malcolm's eyes that night," she later said. "A kind of grief no script could prepare me for. He wasn't acting, he wasn't holding back, he was just gone." And then he gave her something, a handwritten note. One sentence, "Some lights burn so quietly you don't know they've gone out until you're left in the dark." Let that sit for a moment. Because that's where we are now, in the dark, trying to piece together a puzzle made of pain, regret, and the unspoken. The voicemail, the letter, the look in his eyes. And the question burning across social media, what happened between Tempestt and Malcolm that destroyed him? Sources say the fallout began at a private reunion party just 3 nights before Malcolm's death. It was meant to celebrate decades of histo. As the sun rose over Los Angeles the morning after Malcolm Jamal Warner's death, a different kind of darkness settled. Not over the sky, but over the hearts of those who once called him family. The truth was no longer rumor. It had a voice, a name, a timestamp, and it was tearing through the internet like wildfire. Tempestt Bledsoe, the woman who once held Malcolm's heart, was now at the center of a storm she could never undo. The leaked audio of her broken voice, trembling as she whispered, "If you forgive me, maybe I'll never forgive myself," was racking up millions of plays across social platforms. People weren't just listening, they were feeling, sobbing, and demanding answers. Behind the scenes, Phylicia Rashad had gone completely silent. But hours later, she did something no one saw coming. She handed over a handwritten letter that Malcolm gave her just 5 days before his death. He told her it was for the world, but only after he was gone. The letter was short, but every word cut deep. "I loved her more than I loved myself. Maybe that was the mistake. I thought if I gave her everything, she'd remember me when the noise got too loud. But in the end, she chose the noise, and I drowned in it." The internet froze. Was this suicide? Was it heartbreak? Was it betrayal? Those close to Malcolm said he wasn't himself in the days before his passing. He didn't laugh. He didn't eat. He stopped playing guitar. He would just sit, staring at the walls as if waiting for a ghost that never came. His sister revealed that in Costa Rica, he would stand outside at night, whispering her name into the dark, as if begging the wind to carry it back to her. And yet, she never came. Tempestt remained silent until the second voice note surfaced that evening. This time it was Malcolm's voice, barely above a whisper, ocean waves in the background. "If I die tomorrow, just tell the truth. Don't protect your image. Don't run from the hurt you caused. I'm not asking you to love me. Just stop pretending you didn't." The internet erupted. Every outlet picked it up. Celebrities tweeted their heartbreak. Others demanded to know the truth. And then Phylicia Rashad went live. No script, no PR filter, just truth. "Malcolm told me something a few months ago," she said. "Even the ones who love you like a mother can't tell who's crying for the soul and who's crying for the spotlight." He was tired, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally. And the one person who could have saved him walked away while he was on his knees. That sentence shook the industry. Former co-stars reached out. People started revisiting Cosby Show clips, rewatching the moments between Theo and Vanessa, wondering if the fiction was fueled by a real love story, one that ended in tragedy. The most haunting account came from a hospice nurse near Malcolm's Costa Rican beach villa. She claimed a private ambulance was called and that Malcolm was still alive when paramedics arrived, barely breathing but conscious. His last words, "Tell Tempestt I forgive her. Claire, I'm ready." The nurse didn't know who Claire was until she saw the news coverage. Then it all made sense. For Malcolm, it wasn't just a show. That was family. That was the only mother he trusted in the end. As the storm of speculation grew, Tempestt finally broke her silence with a short Instagram post. No picture, just a black screen. Her words, "He told me I was the only one who could have saved him. I didn't even try." Nothing more. But her silence afterwards spoke louder than any interview could. Within hours, fans flooded social media with tribute videos. TikTokers lip-synced Malcolm's final words. Murals went up in New York, Atlanta, and LA, with his face beneath the words, "I loved her more than I loved myself." The heartbreak wasn't about losing a celebrity. It was about losing someone who had felt like family. Someone who had spent his final days in quiet agony while no one heard him scream. And the cruelest part, no one still knows exactly why. Was it fame? Ego? A love that couldn't survive the spotlight? What's certain is that the world lost more than just an actor. They lost a man who gave his heart and never got it back. In Costa Rica, the waves still crash against the shore where he took his last steps. Locals say they sometimes hear a man's voice on the wind. Maybe it's just the ocean. Maybe it's something more. Back in the States, the fallout was catastrophic. Family insiders began leaking messages and private conversations that painted a chilling picture. Malcolm didn't die in peace. He died surrounded by unresolved pain and secrets he carried to his grave. And that silence is now shattered. His final voicemail to Tempestt wasn't angry. It was resigned. "If this is what love becomes, then I wish I never tasted it. But I don't blame you, Temp. I just wish you'd said something. What did he mean? It turns out that Malcolm had overheard something at a private Emmy party weeks before his trip. Tempestt allegedly